Digital code. Decentralized versus centralized, the invisible system running the world. You don't wake up thinking about code. You don't see it when you open your eyes. You don't hear it in the streets. You don't touch it with your hands. Yet from the moment you wake up, code is already working on you. Before you speak to another human being, code has already decided what you can access. Before you move money, code has already decided whether that movement is allowed. Before you express an opinion, code has already decided how far that opinion can travel. Code is not in the background anymore. Code is the environment. Every single day, code decides what you can do and what you can't. It decides who can speak, who gets amplified, who gets silenced. It decides who can move money, who gets approved, who gets blocked. It decides who can participate in the economy and who is quietly excluded without explanation. Most people never notice. Not because it isn't happening, but because the most powerful systems are the ones you don't feel. You only notice power when it hurts. And modern power is designed not to hurt, until it absolutely has to. We were taught that power looks physical. Governments with flags, buildings made of stone and glass, armies with weapons, police with uniforms, laws written on paper. That image of power is outdated. It belongs to another era. Today, power doesn't need to look strong. It needs to be embedded. Today, power lives somewhere else. It lives inside infrastructure, inside databases, inside algorithms, inside digital rules. Power lives inside digital code. If someone controls the code, they don't need force. They don't need violence. They don't need to argue. They simply change the rules and the system obeys instantly, silently, globally, automatically. Every message you send, every payment you make, every app you open, every account you log into, runs on instructions written by someone else. You don't negotiate with those instructions. You don't vote on them. You usually don't even know they exist. And here is the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. There are only two possible ways digital systems can be designed: centralized or decentralized. There is no third option, no middle ground, no neutral architecture. Every system chooses where power lives, either at the center or spread across the network. This video is not really about technology. Technology is just the surface. This is about who holds power in the digital age, who can decide, who can override, who can erase. And once you truly see this, you can't unsee it. Centralized digital code. Centralized digital code is the system you already live inside. It feels normal. It feels safe. It feels familiar. It feels that way because you grew up inside it. Centralized code means one authority controls the system. One company, one institution, one government, one organization. All decisions flow downward, from the top to everyone else. Visualize a wheel. At the center is a single hub. Every spoke depends on that hub to function. If the hub turns, everything turns. If the hub stops, everything stops. If the hub breaks, everything collapses. That is centralization. Banks work this way. A small group controls the ledger. They decide what counts as valid money. They decide who can access it. Social media platforms work this way. A company owns the servers. They decide which content survives. They decide which content disappears. Governments work this way. Rules are written at the center, enforced outward. Cloud servers work this way. Your data exists somewhere else, under someone else's control. When you use a bank, you don't actually move money. You request permission to update a database. Your balance is not cash. It is an entry in someone else's system. When you press send, you are asking an institution to allow the change. When you post on social media, you don't own your words. You borrow space. Your content exists only as long as the platform allows it to exist. When you store data online, you don't control it. You trust another entity to protect it, to preserve it, to not misuse it. Centralized systems run on permission. Permission to speak. Permission to transact. Permission to participate. Permission to exist digitally. If the authority says yes, you move. If the authority says no, you stop. There is no debate. There is no transparency. There is no appeal. This is why centralized systems are powerful. They are fast. They are efficient. They scale easily. They feel smooth, until the moment they don't. Because centralized systems always come with a cost, a hidden cost. The cost is control. In centralized systems, rules can change overnight, without your consent, without your input. Accounts can be frozen instantly, without explanation, without warning. History can be rewritten silently. Posts disappear. Transactions vanish. Records are altered. If you are inside the system, everything works. If you are outside the system, you don't exist. History teaches us something important. Centralized power always expands. It always monitors more, always collects more data, always tightens control. Not necessarily because people are evil, but because incentives demand it. How centralized code actually works. Let's slow this down. Let's make the invisible visible. You open a banking app. You press send. What feels instant is actually a chain of permissions. Your request travels to a private server, owned by an institution, located somewhere you don't control. That server checks your identity. It checks compliance rules. It checks legal rules. It checks political rules. It checks risk models. Then the system decides, approved or denied. You never speak to a human. You never see the logic. You only see the result. The bank becomes the judge, the jury, and the executioner. You never see this process because it's hidden, abstract, wrapped in clean design. But invisibility does not mean neutrality. Decentralized digital code. Now let's step outside this model. Let's talk about decentralization. Decentralized digital code removes the center. No master server, no owner, no single authority. Instead of one brain, there are thousands. Visualize a network, independent points connected to each other. No central hub, no command center. Each node verifies for itself. Each node enforces the same rules. If one node disappears, nothing stops. If many nodes disappear, and the system adapts. This is how the early internet was designed. To survive attack, to survive failure. This is how blockchains work. Bitcoin is the clearest example. With decentralized code, no one asks permission. No one approves transactions. No one can rewrite history. Rules are enforced automatically. By mathematics, by cryptography, by transparency. You don't trust people, you verify the system. How decentralized code works. Imagine sending value without asking anyone. You broadcast a transaction, not to a company, not to a government, but to the network. Thousands of independent computers receive it. Each one checks the rules. Each one verifies the math. Consensus emerges, not from authority, but from agreement. If the transaction is valid, it becomes truth, not temporarily, not conditionally, forever. No CEO can reverse it. No government can censor it. No institution can rewrite it. The system doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care where you live. It doesn't care what you believe. It only cares whether the rules were followed. This is why decentralized systems feel uncomfortable. They remove human discretion. They remove favoritism. They remove control. Centralized versus decentralized. The real difference. Centralized systems ask, who are you? Decentralized systems ask, did you follow the rules? Centralized systems depend on trust. Trust in institutions, trust in leaders, trust in stability. Decentralized systems depend on verification. Anyone can check. Anyone can audit. Centralized systems can be turned off. With one order, one switch, one command. Decentralized systems can only be attacked. And even then, they adapt. Centralized systems break under pressure. Decentralized systems grow stronger. One is fragile, the other is anti-fragile. Why this matters more than you think. This isn't about apps. This isn't about trends. This isn't about hype. This is about who controls reality. Money is code, speech is code, identity is code. If code is centralized, Freedom is conditional. If code is decentralized, freedom is structural. This is why decentralization scares institutions. It removes leverage. It removes dependency. It removes control. The future. The future will not be purely decentralized, and it will not remain centralized. It will be contested. Hybrid systems, open protocols, hidden controls. Those who understand code early won't just survive the transition, they'll shape it. If this video changed how you see the digital world, like, subscribe, comment, what shocked you the most? Share this with someone who still thinks power is physical. Check the description below. I'll be posting more videos about money, code, decentralization, and power.